Hey guys, Mike White here, your high performance coach, along with our chef, Jeff Houtman, right? And another episode of Acoachnchef, where we make healthy meals for wellness, all right? As well as wellness for the earth. Hey, last week we did we did a community event, right? We
That's
did the
right.
Encinitas Community Garden Party. That was fantastic, right? We went out into the community and saw what's going on out in the community, and we support those kinds of things, right? But it's time for us to get back in the kitchen, Jeff.
Yeah.
Right? Time for us to get back in the kitchen. What have you got planned for us today?
Yeah, well, entree tonight. You bought some. You went to a butcher, a local butcher, right?
Yes, I did.
Kennedy's, and where there's just a tremendous array of meats and different cuts.
Beautiful cuts of
So
meat.
you brought back
yes.
what was called flat meat.
Flat meat, a little bit, kind of like a flank steak.
Yeah,
you know.
it comes from the belly.
Yes.
And it can be a tough cut of meat, but if you cook it right, like we intend to do, it's going to be very tender.
That's right.
And we're going to season it. Here's the interesting thing is we're going to make a marinade, and it's going to have, I've got some fresh cumin seeds here and some coriander seeds here, and I'm going
Okay.
to toast them
Okay.
and then grind them up, and then with some chili powder and maybe some fresh garlic, and we're going to make a marinade for the steak.
Excellent.
And,
Excellent.
and
Should
then
be nice.
that's going to wind up on the grill.
Okay.
For later. And then with steak, I was thinking, okay, maybe steak and potatoes. Well, you know, we don't do potatoes,
We don't do potatoes.
in this particular diet and
No, we
lifestyle.
don't. Nope.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a faux mashed potato. And I'm going to use
faux.
cauliflower. We've got these beautiful cauliflowers here. I'm going to steam them, and I have a celery root.
Yes.
And,
let me say something about that real quick,
yeah.
okay? Because you're right. Most people, if they do a replacement for mashed potatoes, they mostly just do cauliflower.
Yeah.
Right? But you're going to enhance it and fortify it even more by doing this celery root.
Yes.
Which I think is going to be phenomenal. We're going to definitely watch that technique and see how
Yes.
you incorporate that and how this dish turns out. Because I have a very funny feeling this is a great dish. A lot of people are going to love this dish. So go ahead again.
Yeah, and we might even treat ourselves to a little bit of butter to
We might,
enrich our mashed potato.
Again,
So-
depending on what your diet's going to be, if you want to stay pure to your program, maybe butter doesn't work. Olive oil would work okay,
That's right.
or something of that
That's right.
nature.
Yeah,
You know.
you find the way, you find what works for you.
Yes.
We always give options and
That's
say
right.
this, you can do this or that.
That's right.
And then the other thing I'm going to do is our lean vegetable or our raw vegetable tonight. I'm going to make a zucchini noodle. And then also I'm going to enhance it by cutting kale. And we have a ton of greens from our garden. There's Swiss chard, there's beet greens, and I'm going to make little strips of the greens.
Yes.
And mix them with the strips of zucchini and have like a raw pasta dish,
Yes.
a raw vegetable pasta.
And this is one where we're going to have to pay attention to the technique just a little bit because you're going to make this noodly like.
Yes,
Right?
yeah.
And this is going to be so delicious. I can't wait till we do this. This is a great little technique that you have.
And also, just
right?
to add to that, I've got some sun-dried tomatoes here that
Yes.
also, to
That
add
will
a
go
little
in that
bit more
dish.
richness, yes, that'll go
Yes.
in that dish, and then maybe we can
Wow.
add a little Romano cheese. We have some sheep milk cheese that it can be an option to enhance and enrich this dish. So that's what our
Phenomenal.
plan is. We're going to marinate the steaks with the toasted seeds and the chili powder. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to steam off the cauliflower with the celery root and make a puree, and then we're going to bake that like a baked mashed
It's like going to
potato.
be like a baked mashed potato kind
Yep.
of thing. Yeah.
And then we're going to work on the fresh vegetables, the zucchinis, the kale, the greens from the garden. Oh, and a chimichurri.
Now that's what actually I was waiting for because
Yeah.
as soon as all of that is made,
Right.
right? Again, we've got this coriander, right, that
Yes.
we're using, but we're also going to make a chimichurri that has cilantro in it. So
Yes.
it's going to be a beautiful, blend to have this beautiful sauce on top of it. And I love the fact that it's just so beautiful and green, and we get to have it with that meat because I think it's going to be.
And we'll explain the
absolutely
chimichurri
beautiful
more
addition.
when we're in the kitchen and
Yeah.
the variations of that. And we have our
There are
own way to do it.
variations. We're going to do one tonight, right? Ours is going to have some Italian parsley, some cilantro, maybe a little bit of pepper, some onion.
Serrano chilies.
Yes, and then of course,
Some fresh garlic.
Fresh garlic. So ours will be a little bit different than most, but we'll talk about what a normal what you would normally see out there.
Yeah, again,
in a
chimichurri, it's an Argentine dish originally, but there's so many variations, so many
Lots of variations,
approaches to that. So this will be our version.
This will be our version, but it'll be. I think it's going to be a phenomenal version. It'll go
you
great
see
with
it.
our
You
steak.
see it now,
So
right?
anyway, Hey man, looks like we're gonna have a great meal tonight. You got a clean apron?
Yeah, everything's clean. Hands, board, and knives.
There you go. Hey, I think it's time for us to get in the kitchen. Time to cook, Jeff.
Let's go.
Let's go. All right, Jeff, here we are. We're back in the kitchen now.
Yeah.
Hey, we're getting ready to make the marinade for the meat, right?
Yes.
And
Can you
our
see
meat
that? Did you see
is
our
right up front
our
here? I see the
wonderful
meat.
Flat meat.
right?
You know, they're like skirt steak, flank steak. They're very thin, and they have a very strong grain to them. And
Yes.
they're thin slices. So I don't know if Coach is going to be on the grill tonight. Maybe both of us together.
Oh yeah, I'll be on the grill. I'll do those.
But
real
we want to
quick. I
get
know how
that
do
grill
those.
raging hot so it caramelizes, and we
Yep.
want to keep this meat medium rare in the center. That's
Sounds
going to be
good.
the most tender.
Now it looks like you got a pan on the back
have a
already
pan.
kind of heating up.
Yeah.
All right.
So
what are we doing with that?
okay, what I have here are cumin seeds and coriander seeds. And I've heated the pan up, and I'm going to toast these seeds dry. There's
Okay.
no oil in this pan.
No oil.
No oil.
Just gonna put the
So-
seeds in dry.
Uh-huh.
All right. I like this technique.
All
I do
right,
this
so
technique all
maybe
the time.
about a tablespoon or two or so. We can make a bunch, and then this can be kind of in our pantry, these toasted seeds. And these are the coriander seeds. Coriander seeds are the seeds that come from the same plant as the cilantro.
Yes.
And
we're gonna have cilantro in our
our chimichurri.
chimichurri, and
Yes.
that will be a great little compliment.
Yeah, so I'm putting maybe an equal amount of coriander seed
Yeah, about
in
a
with the cumin
tablespoon.
seed. Back on the flame. Now seeds can burn real quickly because they have a high fat content. There's a lot of oil in seeds, so they can burn.
Yes.
But what I'm going to do is I just want to wait until I hear it start to pop. And when it starts to pop, it means like there's these little moisture pockets in the center of the seed. When it reaches a certain temperature, it's like a popcorn.
Yeah.
That's the way popcorn
Yeah.
works. The steam causes the popcorn to explode and open up. And I want the same sort of thing to happen here, and you have to catch it when they start to pop before they burn. It's really
Yeah,
easy.
yeah.
And another thing that helps is that you can smell them. And just in about 30, 40 seconds or so, you're going to smell them
Oh
right
yeah,
the way you're
they'll,
standing.
they'll have that nice toasty smell.
There's a toasted smell, particularly
Yeah.
the cumin seeds.
Yeah. That'll be nice. Excellent. And so we're going to toast them, and then what? Then we're going to grind
And
them.
then I've got a mortar pestle here, and then we're going to grind them up so they nicely evenly. When you grill them, we don't want really big pieces of seed in there because they
Yeah.
can burn.
Okay.
But if we grind it up nicely, it's going to be a fresh flavor, intense flavor, these roasted seeds. Okay, so I
Excellent.
see them popping, and also they're slightly brown. They're starting to smoke a little bit too. Can
I
you
see
see
that
that?
smoking,
All right,
yeah.
so that's it. That's it. No more than that. Out of the pan because the pan is hot, and they will
Yeah.
continue to cook. So that's it. Like that. Turn the heat off. And you see the advantage of heating the pan up before I put the seeds in is that the pan is hot, and then the seeds can cook right away.
That's right.
Otherwise, you're waiting for the pan to warm up
Yeah, exactly.
with the seeds in there, and
Yeah.
it's better to have the pan hot. So I'm going to let these seeds just cool down just for a little bit and let the steam contract inside them, and then I'm going to grind them up. In the meantime, our recipe calls for chili powder, and we discovered this chili powder at our local market the other week, and it's a New Mexican chili powder.
Yep,
It's
yep.
not very spicy. It's got a rich raisiny flavor to it.
Yep, it does. Yes, it does.
And that's also going to be part of our marinade. And so I'm going to put maybe maybe 2 tablespoons or just a little bit more like that.
That's basically like 3 tablespoons.
Maybe 3 tablespoons. And this recipe will be,
Yeah.
when we list our recipes, you'll find it.
Yeah.
And just something for a little bit of a kick, maybe a pinch like
Pepper
this
flakes,
of some
yeah,
pepper
couple
flakes. And this
pinches.
is user's choice. You know, this is the heat component to this marinade. These things are spices, but this is a heat element. Spice. These are
Yes.
flavorful spices, and this adds heat. And then we're going to blend it all with some olive oil. And I'm going to put maybe a 1/2 cup to 3/4 of a cup. And what I'm looking at is I want to make sure that there's enough of this mixture to evenly coat all those pieces that are in there.
Perfect. Perfect.
Oh, look how, now already the olive oil takes on the color of the chili powder, so rich.
Yes.
And these are ready. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of these out because this is too much. I can tell that when I start to grind them, they're gonna pop out of here because they're too much. So
It's too much. Yeah, you
Yeah,
gotta do a little
so-
bit at a time.
that's right. And this step can be done in a mill, like a coffee grinder.
Yeah.
Very, very popular for people to use coffee grinders to spice, but
I know, but I don't like that, man. I'm a mortar pestle guy.
actually the energy of you doing it, your hands doing it,
Yeah.
I do think
you
adds
can
another.
feel it better.
Yes.
I'm not a big fan though of these ceramic type ones. I like the wooden ones with the tall sides, like the Portuguese. The Portuguese have really nice mortar pestles. Nice tall sides
Uh-huh.
to their mortar pestles. So
Well-
I have a tendency towards that.
Well, there's a reason why I'm actually using this ceramic one, and that's because your lovely wife
Yeah,
bought
Paula
it for our
bought it, yeah.
kitchen, and I want her to see that we are
We're using it.
making an effort to use it. So there's more to me just pulling out any old mortar and pestle right now.
There you go.
All right, so we're going to leave a little bit of texture to the seeds, but I want to make sure that they're all somewhat ground up. You see that?
Yeah, yeah.
Can you smell that? Can you
I smell it from
I
here,
smell
yeah.
both the cumin and the coriander.
Smells delish.
Okay, into our marinade, and this is maybe about a tablespoon of cumin seed and a tablespoon of coriander seed toasted and ground, and then I have a little bit more that I can grind later, and
Yeah.
or we can actually, when this is done, we can taste it and see if we want to add more to it. Another thing I want to put in here is maybe some fresh garlic. Are you okay with that?
I think I'm okay with that.
All right.
I don't mind that part.
And you remember how we do our garlic?
We smash.
We smash. That's a nice,
smashers.
nice piece of garlic here.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was a nice toe.
Voila. Maybe a scant teaspoon, not too much. And I'm just going to put a dash of salt in here, but before we put the steak on the grill, we will liberally salt it. I don't want too
Yeah.
much salt in here now.
I don't want too much salt in
I don't want to be
initially.
drawing the juices out of the meat,
Yeah.
and so. But I just do want to add just a little bit more flavor because it's going to marinate. So just a little turn like that, and we'll do more salt later.
All right.
All right. So now, Coach, we got an incredible marinade here. Incredible marinade. So
Excellent.
let's get it. I think I have a spatula right here, and we're just gonna get this whole thing.
Now, what do you reckon? Okay, so we're going to let this marinate. So how long do you normally
I would
think
say
would be a good...
between 2 hours is kind of maybe a good place to start.
I would think,
But
yeah.
you can marinate this overnight.
Yeah, I would think. It'd
You
be
can
kinda
take
nice.
this and put it in a Ziploc bag with the marinade in it, and then let it stay overnight. Okay, so I'm going to get in here, and I'm going to make sure
Everything's well
that
coated.
the marinade is on every part. I mean, this looks almost like a carne asada, doesn't it?
Yeah.
In its look, in its color, and it's certainly the same type of meat that's used in carne asada. So
It has that same kind of...
grainy texture,
grainy
thin,
type
grainy
texture.
texture, and you know when it chars up, it's going to be just full of flavor.
It's going to be full of flavor. And the other thing is, too, is because of how we're going to cut it, it'll be nice and tender.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that too. And you
Yeah.
know that we cut
Cutting
against the grain.
that grain.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness, it's going to be... Nice thin cuts against that grain are going to make it nice and tender.
All right, so here it is.
All right.
And
looks like it's ready for the fridge, Jeff.
it's ready for the fridge. And then also, though, before we're ready to grill it, maybe a half hour or so before we grill it, we'll pull it out to room temperature.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
but for now, let this marinade soak in there for a couple hours. We've probably got about 2 or so hours before we have dinner, so we'll.
Yeah, and that was a great tip you just said. We're putting it in the fridge for a couple hours, but hey, if right before you're ready to grill it, hey, get it back up to room temperature, pull it out.
Right.
Because if it's cold, it's not going to cook right.
Correct.
right? So you need to get it back up to room temperature and then throw it on the grill.
Yeah, you don't want the grill to be pushing back on something that's cold in the center.
Exactly, exactly.
All right, so I'm going to refrigerate this. The marinade, I can tell you right now what I tasted.
All right,
It's just
so you
full of
got the
flavor.
marinade going. That's going in the fridge. And
Yes.
what's coming next? We got...
And what's coming next is I started my prep work for our zucchini noodles.
Perfect.
Our zucchini and kale noodles. This is our nutritional powerhouse here, our green vegetable, our lean vegetable. And I'm going to show you how I made these little zucchini noodles and how I'm going to cut the kale and then what we're going to do to dress it and season it.
Perfect. Let's get that thing in the
right.
fridge and let's get ourselves cleaned up.
I got to
and let's
wash
see
my
that
hands,
next
I got to
section.
wash my board, I got to wash my knives.
Let's go.
Be right back.
Talk to you in a bit. Okay, Jeff, we got the meat marinating in the fridge.
Yes.
And you wanted to show the technique for
Yeah.
these fettuccine noodles you're making.
Yep. And I'm really excited about this dish because it's got so much nutrition. There's just, I mean, this is, I like the meat part and flavors there, but there are two dishes, our side dishes. This dish with the zucchinis and kale, and then our faux mashed potatoes with cauliflower and celery root. So the first thing I want to do, you see, I started making these noodles, and I'll show you how I did
They
that.
look gorgeous.
And then I also started, what I want to do is I want to replicate the ribbon, okay, and this. So I want to just show you these couple of techniques, and then we'll make the salad from there.
Okay.
All right, so I just took the stem.
Yep, taking the stem from the kale.
Okay, and then my knife's right here. I kind of gather things up, tuck the fingers, and just slice across. I would say the width of a fettuccine noodle. That's what I was trying to accomplish when I
Yes.
did the zucchini. The width of a fettuccine noodle.
Yeah, and you were trying to lay all the leaves on top of each other. So
Yes, I stack the leaves on top of each other, and it takes a little practice, to be able to gather
Yeah,
everything.
exactly.
And then because I just want one cut across, and just to get nice threads.
Yeah, and they don't have
kale.
to be perfect.
Oh, no,
we
no.
want that little imperfection in them.
That's so
you know,
correct.
But
Yes.
but as long as strip as you can, hey, if we can make nice long.
Yeah,
strips,
because
that's fine.
when I cut, the leaf gets oriented in all different
Of
directions
course.
as I gather it. But this is the gist of it, like that, because you can see when they're cut like this and when they're cut like this, that when I mix the two together, that they're going to blend.
They're gonna blend beautifully.
Nothing's going to sink to the bottom.
Exactly.
There's not chunks of anything.
Yeah.
So
I see it. It's gonna be
Two-
beautiful.
two techniques that I want to bring in, and one is what I like to do for the kale is put a drizzle of olive oil. This is one large bunch of kale, one
Okay.
really large bunch of kale, and I'm going to put maybe 2-3 tablespoons of olive oil, and then I'm going to put a couple of twists of salt. And there's a process where you get right in to the bowl and you massage the salt and the olive oil into the kale. And what that does is it breaks it down. It breaks down fibers and it makes it so much easier to digest, and it also brings out the flavor.
Yes.
So, and when you rub the salt into it and the olive oil into it, you see you're bringing flavor into it, but also mechanically you're beginning to break it down. And because raw kale sometimes could be hard to digest, just need to be aware of that. Some people it affects more than others. But when you do this little step, and see how it glistens. It
Yeah,
almost
look at it.
almost takes on a cooked appearance. Okay, so
No, I like this technique. This technique is great
Yeah,
for
and it's just the
softening
dash.
that kale, because sometimes kale can just be so hard to chew and eat compared to some of the other things
yeah,
you're eating.
it's roughage.
It's roughage,
It's
that is
real
true.
roughage.
But you can certainly soften it,
It-
and increase its flavor by doing exactly what you're doing.
Yeah,
I
and
love it.
also when it sits aside now, it'll soften and cure a little bit more as the salt penetrates that. So
Excellent.
I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to rinse my hands. And then we're going to get back to the
All right,
zucchini
let's
part.
get to the zucchini.
Okay, the zucchini part. All right, so I have a peeler. Now, in my restaurant kitchen, I have a tool called a mandolin. And the mandolin is very convenient because it just has these nice blades that are slotted, and I just run the zucchini down the length of it, and I can make little strips like this.
Exactly. Very
So
consistent strips.
Very consistent. So that, I mean, that's the optimum tool. But what I did now is I take this peeler like that. And it's a bit of a meditation. I like that. All right, and I did that. And, you know, I started out with the first thing I did. And these zucchinis are organic, and I washed them. And just simply start the peel like that.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
you start going down the sides.
And then you can, yeah, you can turn it like that. So that's what's here, or at least how I started. And then I line up the strips. And then I cut them into noodles. See that?
Yeah.
And you'll see also, like I did with the kale, I'm going to add a little salt to these zucchinis now too. Let me add this to this. So in here are 3 zucchinis this size, minus this, and I'll cut this and put this in there. So 3 zucchinis this size are in this bowl right there.
Perfect.
And 1 really large head of kale. Stack, stack, stack. Like I say, for me, it's a bit of a meditation to do this. Although, it'd be nice if I had my mandolin.
Yeah, be a little quicker.
It gets me more in touch with the food when I do this.
I actually do like the knife method. You do have to have the time, you know, for it. But,
Uh-huh.
you know, I'm with you on it. I love just using my
Yeah,
knife.
So
something
anyway,
about
if you
just
want to
using your
prepare
knife.
this salad, you know, just it does take a little bit. And I think
course.
if you really want to enjoy it, that you do find the time to do the cutting and the slicing and
Hey,
the preparation.
we're talking about, you know, 3 or 4 versus, you know, 10, 20. All right? I mean, you're cooking for 10 or 20 or even more.
Yeah,
you better
do
get
a
a
case
mandolin.
of zucchini.
Yeah, your mandolin's going to be busy.
Okay, so now I'm going to just add a little bit of salt, a couple of turns like that, and toss these zucchini ribbons in with the salt. And this will have a tendency now to draw the water and draw the liquid out of the zucchinis, and it'll tenderize them. I say it cures it. Right? It's a curing process. When the salt gets inside, it will flavor them. And maybe just now that I've turned it, just do another
Yeah, I was gonna
shot
say,
like
yeah.
that.
There we go.
Yeah,
Spread
but
her out.
yeah, not too much. And
And you're just adding salt. You're not going to add any olive oil to it, right?
No, I'm not going to add
Just
any
add some
olive oil.
salt to get
but
that
later
water
on,
to leave a little bit.
well, so also to spruce up the salad, I'm going to put these sun-dried tomatoes, and these are with olive oil. Okay, so
But we're going to wait for that until later.
but we're going to when we assemble the salad, when we assemble the kale
Yeah.
and the zucchinis, and then we might add a little more olive oil. And also, I even thought, like pasta, maybe a scrape of some Romano cheese, some sheep milk cheese, like Parmesan, but Romano.
Yeah.
Just, you know, have it as an option on the table to add more richness. I can see that just in the minute and a half since I put the salt on it, that these things are starting to get
Wilty.
wilty.
Yeah.
Yes, and I can feel that some water is being exuded from it.
Maybe put a plate underneath that.
And and not a plate or a bowl, because if we capture that water,
I know. I'm thinking we need to capture that water.
yeah, okay.
You know me, I love to capture that stuff.
Yeah, we don't lose anything.
No.
Yeah, so if some stuff drips in here, we can put it back in the salad dressing, essentially. We'll just find a
Absolutely.
place for it.
Why not?
All
Why
right,
not?
so
Good place for it.
that's the 2 techniques here. This is, I mean, look at this salad shaping up as far as being a green bomb. And then we'll discuss what we want to season this with.
Okay.
And we'll create the recipe as we go along. All right.
All right. Sounds
So-
good. All right, so we got that going.
Yeah.
What's next, Jeff?
What's next? I'm going to put this with this and set it aside.
Finish that off.
Put it over here. We'll finish that, and that'll be when I assemble. We'll come back and I'll show you how we assemble that. But in the meantime, I want to prepare our sweet potato, our mashed potato dish, and so started out with some cauliflower, and I have a steamer. I have a steamer basket right here.
Perfect. You already have
And
some cauliflower ready to go.
I already have some ready to go. I cut the stem out like that, and then I break the pieces in here. So we're going to steam that.
Excellent.
And then also in there, we have our celery root.
Yes.
And so celery root, this
Look
is,
at that thing.
yeah. And it's so rich with flavor, and it is a root vegetable, and I know there's some controversy about root vegetables and ketogenic, but let me tell you, as far as the carbohydrate content of this, there's carbohydrates in all vegetables, and yes, certain root vegetables are full, like potatoes and sweet potatoes and like that, but this ranks very low in the carb component as far as it is ketogenic friendly.
Yes.
So, people have...
Like I said, most of the time with roots, we're thinking beets, right? Very high in sugar. Okay, carrots, very high in sugar. But this is celery root. This actually has it's basically brain food, to tell you the truth.
That's good to know.
A really an incredible type of food. And we'll talk more about that later, fireside, when we start talking about some of the nutritional components that even celery itself has, and some of the benefits. But very rich in, very high water content type of vegetable. And when I look at vegetables that I like and want, they're going to be high, water.
Coach, I just broke the peeler.
I got it. There's no reason. Why are you stopping?
Because I broke the peeler. There.
Why are you stopping? Just keep going. Let's go.
I broke the peeler. Can you see that?
Yeah.
And then I just put the piece in backwards.
All right. Well, don't.
That's why I use my knife.
Yeah,
that's
use your knife.
Mm-hmm.
Thing's knotty anyway. You gotta use your knife.
Well, the peeler works good where it's all smooth, but when it gets on the top, on the root end, this stuff goes really well in your bone broth. These peelings
those
here.
peelings, absolutely.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, that goes in bone broth for sure.
All right.
All right, so you're going to do this. All right, you're going to peel this and steam this as well.
Yes.
And you're going to use half of one?
Maybe. I like to always save a little bit for salad, so maybe I'll just use another piece of this, half of this, and a half more in here with the cauliflower.
3/4 of one.
3/4, and that's because I really like eating this raw, and so I want to save some of it for that.
Okay.
But as far as the proportions go, you could put the whole thing in there. I mean,
I was going to say, I don't see a problem with that, Steve. Going for it. All right, so this is going to be kind of nice. Okay, so we have to steam it because we got to get this bad boy soft.
yes.
Just like the cauliflower, get it nice and soft.
Yep.
And then once it's soft, then we can kind of mash it.
Well, that's going to go in the food processor.
Yep, food processor gets all mashed up. And then we're going to put it in a casserole dish.
Well, we'll make it, and then we'll put it in a casserole.
Wow,
And,
I'm looking forward to that part. Here we go. So, okay, so this is the steam part of it. This is us getting it cooked and ready to go. Love it, love it. All right, so how long do you think this is going to steam for, Jeff?
Well, I want to make sure that I get the cauliflower and the celery root steamed.
I was gonna
so
say,
whichever
yeah.
one takes longer, that's how long. I've decided that I was going to
take
steam
longer.
them together. And but sometimes it cooks through pretty fast. So, okay, once it comes up to steam, I would give it maybe 6 minutes. In 6 minutes, I think that all these vegetables are going to be cooked all the way through. All right, I'm going to get this other piece of celery root in there.
All right, man. Sounds good. All right, so this is going to get steamed?
Yes, steamed. And then when we come back, I'll show you how we're going to put it in the food processor and put it in a casserole dish, have the oven preheated, and maybe put a little butter on top so it'll bake like a mashed potato dish.
Perfect.
And then we'll assemble the kale and the
And our fettuccine noodles.
yeah, and and the fettuccine noodles.
Our fettuccine noodles.
Yes.
All right, man. All right, so we're going to let you finish this up, do the steaming, and we'll come right back. All right, Jeff, here we are. Hey, we've got the cauliflower and the celery root steaming.
Yes.
And so here we are. We have time to make some of this chimichurri.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
show us the chimichurri. What are we going to put in it?
Yeah, and for this cut of meat and just to have something, a little sauce to put on it, this is such a classic for this type of preparation. And the chimichurri is parsley and chili flakes and red wine vinegar. But I'm going to make a cilantro, but it's cilantro plus.
Cilantro plus.
Yeah, the plus is I went out to our garden, and these are the herbs that we have. There are chives, there's Italian parsley, there's fresh oregano. Yeah, oregano also is classic with parsley in the chimichurri, and mint. And so I'm going to make a six herb chimichurri.
Yeah. Now, we had some basil out there too, right?
And yes, we did.
Okay. I was going to say some basil would go good in this as well, I would think.
Okay, so you go get some and I'll put it in.
All right. Excellent.
And the other thing I want to do is because we seasoned the meat with coriander and cumin, and cilantro is going to be the major herb in the chimichurri.
Yep.
So I'm building the recipe as I go. And I think it's going to be dynamite just to take a little bit of the seeds that are toasted from before and grind them up and add them to the chimichurri.
I think that's a good idea. Just a little bit of that.
Of course, we're bringing stuff
That's right.
in. And we're bringing things
It'll
together.
blend very nicely, I think.
So the chimichurri is almost like a pesto.
Almost.
Except we're not going to put it in the food processor. We're just going to chop the herbs on the board. And I rinse these all and dry them a little bit. And I'm using some stem, not all, but some. Okay?
I think for chimichurri, the stem's fine.
Yeah.
Stem is definitely fine to go in there.
I'm glad you think so. Okay.
Absolutely.
And now I get to the garden herbs.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just, parsley's here, the chives are here. I'm going to...
And our Italian parsley is outstanding.
Oh my gosh, look at these leaves.
Look at those,
They're like
how
lettuce
gorgeous
leaves.
they are, yeah. And we have some gorgeous Italian parsley.
All right, here I gather again. Gathering is a big part
Gathering.
of chopping. Stems, these stems, yes, they have so much flavor and so much water.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great flavor in those.
Get these chives in here too.
Yeah, the chives are begging to come in. You know what I kind of like in my chimichurri?
What's that?
Just a little bit is some shallot. You know, if we had shallot.
Coach,
I don't think we have any, but we have. Do we have a little red onion?
No.
I was going to say if we had a little red onion.
I agree with you though. Those
that would
definitely
really,
would be
I think,
enhancements for this.
Don't you think?
Yep.
A little kick it up a notch kind of thing.
You know, I really went to town with the parsley, cilantro, and chives, but the oregano is a much stronger herb, and I'm going to use this in a smaller amount because of how strong it is. Where the parsley and the cilantro,
Yes.
it's not as intense a flavor.
Yes.
So
This flavor will go a long way.
this flavor will go a long way, and also as will the mint. We had mint outside, so.
Yep. Yep. The mint will
So
go a long way as well.
So did you count?
But it's kind of nice, you know, when you have just that little bit of mint, it will be enough to enhance those other flavors in there.
The oregano and the mint in small amounts with an abundance
Absolutely.
of parsley and cilantro. I mean, here, so...
Look how thick that is. Beautiful. It's going to make a nice little sauce.
You know, last week at our Encinitas Garden event, and that wonderful chef that was cooking the tri-tip, Chef Jeff, and he also put up a chimichurri sauce with his grilled meat. And I don't think it's going to be... He had a very classic, traditional chimichurri. We're doing it with all our garden herbs. And, and also I'm going to grind up some seed now.
Yeah, let's do a little seed.
A
Put that in
little bit
there.
of cumin and coriander seed. And you see I've changed...
Went to my style.
Here.
Yeah, see, you can hear that grinding. I love that grinder.
And truly the action in here is much better. Much better.
Plus, that's a well seasoned, right? Oh, I can smell that from here, dude. I literally can smell that from here.
Maybe a teaspoon of those herbs mixed in here.
I'd say about a teaspoon. That wasn't a tablespoon.
A serrano chili. You know, also in traditional, we have lots of chili flakes here, and maybe a pinch of chili flake. But I'm gonna I'm going to enhance with the serrano. Roly-poly serranos. Also, it's good to know what kind of fire we're putting in there.
Yeah, know what kind of fire. Know how much to put in.
I think for now, because we want to be respectful of Paula's palate and don't want to spoil anything for her. This is a very spicy chili.
Yep.
So a half a teaspoon. And let's go for the olive oil. What I want to do is I want to add enough oil.
It's like
Spoon. Can you figure out how much that was?
that was like 2/3 a cup, almost a cup.
It's going to take more.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, we have a lot of herb in there.
We have a lot of herb in here. And this keeps very nicely too.
Well, yeah, it's in the olive oil. It's basically a pesto. It's just a very
Correct.
olive oily.
It's a coarse pesto.
Yeah, very coarse pesto.
Now it's getting there.
There you
Right
go.
now it's
Look
getting
at
there.
that.
And also the oil is going to break down the leaves also, so they're going to get soft and loose. And now we're going to bring a little bit of acid. It's red wine vinegar.
Yeah, just a splash of that.
Just a
right?
splash of that, just to cut some of the richness and the richness of the sauce and the richness of the steak.
Very nice.
Yeah, thank you. And now maybe just a little more, just to build a little bit, because the oil is going to take on all that flavor. And then a twist. Now, can you see when we have nice charred, very tender pieces of steak?
Oh yeah, no, that's
just to
gonna be
put
so...
this green dynamite on
Yeah,
it.
that green dynamite is going to be outstanding. Outstanding.
Yes.
So, all right, Jeff. So, the
Yeah.
chimichurri's done. Looks
Hey.
like we got some steam happening over there with the cauliflower and the celery root.
Let me see. Can we catch the? Can we catch it over there? Can you
Let
see?
me see. I see some steam happening. What do you think?
All right.
Is it getting close?
It's getting close, but see, I'm not. The way to test is to put your knife through here. That's not quite.
See if I can get a little closer to you there
Yeah.
from here.
We are close on this. These little celery root pieces just need to cook just a little, bit more.
A little bit more, right?
You know, they were on the top, so that mattered. Give it a little turn. But it's
All right.
okay, you know, it's all going to steam. I'm going to blend everything together. This is going to be another 2 minutes or so. The food processor is right here. When this is ready and it just cools down just slightly, I'll put it in the food processor. We'll come back and show you that.
All right.
The other thing I need to do is I have the components for the zucchini and kale salad. That needs to be assembled. I'm going to clean the boards, clean the knife, clean my hands, come back and take it to the next step.
Sounds good. See you at the next step. Okay, Jeff. Looks like what? The cauliflower and the celery root have
Totally cooked
softened
through.
up.
Yeah, the way to tell is you take a knife, see everything is just totally cooked through. Very tender. And now we're going to navigate it into the food processor.
Okay.
Like that. See if it all fits. That's good.
It'll mash up and blend. There we go.
We'll blend this up first and then maybe put a little bit more in.
Yep,
But
that's what I
also,
was
we,
thinking.
Coach and I discussed maybe we're going to add just a little bit of butter too to this. You can add olive oil, you can add avocado oil, you can add coconut oil, you can put no oil. But I enjoy this. And,
Yeah. Well, like I said, this would not be a wild fit friendly, with butter. You'd have to do something different.
Yeah.
But the keto, you're fine. All right, we're going to grind that down.
And to make a nice puree,
Yeah.
we got to scrape it down. I can tell already where it's blending. It looks just like potato.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to
Exactly.
blend it a little more and maybe put a little bit more of what's in the steamer in.
I like it. I like it. And then
Yeah.
so you can see it start turning. Everything
Yeah.
will start going down.
Yep. You know what it needs? More butter.
Probably. But let's wait.
Okay. Let's put just a little more in here.
Oh, we add a little olive oil.
We could, or
I like adding both.
or the avocado oil is nice too, because that's kind of a neutral flavor. So I wouldn't want to put coconut oil in there.
No.
So, I'm a fan of the avocado oil.
That works well.
You can even hear the action change.
Yep. Look, they got cream there already. Look at that.
Okay, have a look. Now, these are steamed. There's no salt in here yet either.
Well, we'll probably need to add a little salt. Is it creamy? Looks creamy. Nice and creamy. Look at that.
Creamy?
Yeah.
Especially when you add the oil like that and emulsifies into.
All right. Excellent. Well, let's get that bad boy. Let's get it salted. Let's get it put in our pan. And let's get that bad boy in the oven. I'm thinking, hey.
That's a teaspoon there.
All right.
I'm going to put a teaspoon and a quarter. Okay. So I have a buttered baking dish here.
Yeah.
Could be olive oil, could be avocado oil. This is way creamy.
Lovely.
This is so nice.
And there's not even any cheese in it.
Not yet.
Not yet. Doesn't need it.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
It does not need it.
That's the beauty. Coach and I, Mike and I, we can appreciate the flavor of the vegetable itself.
Yeah,
I mean, our
absolutely.
palates, a lot of people's palates are adulterated with sugar and salt. And
yeah, but once you clear that hurdle, clear that sugar.
by the way, see how much
you're
see how much is
clean
on
the blade.
I'm going to clean the blade.
Yeah,
So
clean the blade.
anybody with a food processor at home would appreciate this little trick, because when you put the blade in, it has all your food on it, but you spin it, then everything is in the bowl. It's way easier to clean up.
Yep, way easier to clean it. All right.
But if this doesn't look like mashed potatoes,
It's like mashed potatoes to
I
me.
don't know what it does.
And it's going to be absolutely delicious.
No,
You're
it
gonna
looks
love that
better
with that
than mashed
meat.
potatoes.
It is actually way better than mashed potatoes. I mean,
Oh, the
way
cauliflower.
better. Nutrition-wise for us, health-wise for us.
Yeah.
I mean, I you know me, I don't consider potato even food. That's just, not even food in my diet. So yeah, okay, great. So
Look. See that?
looks nice.
It's
Looks
going to
nice.
brown up on the edges.
Excellent.
And
All right.
I wanted
you're ready
to-
to put that in the oven, aren't you?
yeah, but I want it to look, again, to replicate. I put a little paprika on top, and
I like paprika.
yeah, because doesn't it adds just another flair to it. Another
Plus
flair.
it'll toast up nice.
Like that. And look, I'll ask you, a little bit of butter or a little bit of avocado oil on
Well, let's
top?
bake it first, and then we'll put the butter
Well,
on.
this is the time. No, this is the time for the butter to bake. This is the time for it to caramelize and to add its flavor. So
Well,
it's either now or
I say
or
no.
later.
No.
Or
I don't-
later.
Yeah, I don't want it on there now.
All right,
All right. You ready for the baking?
you bet.
All right, Jeff. It's going in.
Here we go.
All
Oven's
right.
preheated.
And what do you have it heated to?
375 degrees. It's going to take about 25 or a half hour. I mean, this will just regulate when we need to go out to the grill. I'm going to assemble the salad now too. Let this bake for 20 minutes. It can hold, and yeah, that's it.
Perfect. All right. Let's start this the salad. All right, Jeff. We have our mashed potatoes.
Yeah, in the
in
oven
the
now.
oven
Yep.
cooking. But now we need to assemble this salad,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
show us what you're going to do to
Yes.
assemble this salad.
Okay. So our two main components of the salad were our kale
Yes.
Look how rich that looks, and just full of chlorophyll and fiber and vitamin. And also here's our cured zucchini, which we peel, use the peeler, and then I cut it into little fettuccine type strips. Also, we had it, I salted it, and you can see
Look at the juice that came out.
the juice that came out.
Beautiful.
Okay, so this is this is zucchini water. It's not water from the tap. This is water that actually came out of the vegetable.
Incredible.
So we can drink that. You can add it to stock. Maybe even if we dress the salad, we can even put it back in there.
You can
as
almost
part of
put
the
it right
dressing.
back in as part of the salad dressing. So
Exactly. So here we go. I'm going to. I have a master bowl here.
The master bowl.
And I'm going to grab a spatula.
All right.
And kale going in.
Kale's going in.
And this is, I think everybody's been waiting for this. Zucchini's going in. I can squeeze this. I could press this and make it drier, but I won't. I think I want more moisture and more water to be in there. It's zucchini water.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of, it becomes part of the dressing. It becomes part of the vegetable.
I agree.
So it's going in. And then it's possible that we'll add, and I'll ask the coach how much oil he wants in here, what he'd like the salad to look like. But
I'm pretty liberal with the oil because this is uncooked oil. So to me, the avocado oil or the
gosh, look at that when I turn the kale up. Look at that.
Look at that.
Oh my gosh.
And there is olive oil.
I don't know if I hope there are people out there that get as excited as Michael and I do about looking at a bowl like
look
this.
at that.
And I know there are
gorgeous.
people out there that do.
Come on. Please. That's going to be so delicious, so gorgeous, so wonderful.
Yes.
And
we have the opportunity to season it any way we want.
Excellent.
So we made gamasio earlier. That can go in as a seasoning.
Yep. We always have gamasio going in this house.
I have a secret ingredient that's called cheese that I would put in here. I have some pecorino romano.
I don't think it needs it. I think that when we look at this dish tonight, we don't need the cheese. There's no need to put cheese.
So can we distinguish between need and desire? Maybe that.
Well, that might be true too. You might be having a slight desire, but I'm kind of fighting you on it because I don't need it today.
You're not fighting me. I'm not fighting.
I don't want any cheese.
I'm not fighting.
I'm fighting
what I do is put up food the way you want it, and what I want to do to my own food, I do. Okay, so now I went out and I also picked some more. Look at these greens came from the garden. We have deep greens. We have Swiss chard, and I also have flowers. Oh, by the way, So I wanted to put the sun-dried tomatoes in, and these are also they're packed in a little bit of olive oil.
Yeah,
really
you don't
nice.
Cut those up, right?
They're already cut. They're julienne strips, sun-dried tomato. So
you're gonna leave them like that?
I'm gonna leave them like this, so they come in as nice and textural when we eat our salad. So I don't know. There's close to a cup here. Let's start maybe with a half cup.
I was gonna say half cup. Yeah. See how that looks out. I like the oil in there too.
Yeah, and the oil, because that's going to be the seasoning and the flavor.
Yep.
And I'm also a kind of a glutton for color, and
yep, it'll add some nice color.
Yeah, and to that, I'm going to grate a little bit of carrot in here too. So these are all thoughts I had in between filming, and what I want to do, how I see this. I kind of spring it on Michael because he might say, well, carrot, some vegetable, sweet, sugar in there. So, okay, we'll have that conversation later. I think this amount, I'm willing to make a trade-off because look what I just done to the salad by just dropping a tablespoon or two of carrots in there. Mm-hmm. It just brings things to life. Okay, part of the stirring process. Okay, now I have this platter. We need to taste it. We need to taste. We need to taste for salt. I need to put pepper in here.
I was gonna say you don't have anything in it yet.
But this is so close. Remember, we salted the zucchini.
Yep.
And we salted the kale too, just a little bit.
That's true. We did,
So-
didn't we? There's probably enough there.
And I can taste the oil. This doesn't need any more oil. This doesn't need any more oil. So, what am I saying?
Look at the front of the bowl. Flip it in. Keep trying to tell you. Flip it in.
Yeah, yeah.
There you go.
I
All
wasn't, okay. So, this is what I was going to do. We have these fresh. I went out to the garden, and I got Swiss chard. I got beet greens, and I got bok choy. And I got a whole bunch of flowers. I have basil flowers, I have bok choy flowers, I have arugula flowers. So, this is what I was getting. And as Michael said, we have basil. And this is the Thai basil. Beautiful purple leaves. It can go as a garnish, or it can go as a flavoring. I'm going to set that on the bottom here, just because we have that. It's from our garden. I'm going to put the bowl of vegetables right here. Look at that. It's like pasta.
Yeah, it's like pasta.
It's just like
It's like
pasta.
a cold pasta.
Oh my gosh, yes. And you see how not only do the sun-dried tomatoes and the carrots add color, but they add their own flavor. They bring something to the dish.
So we can
And,
really see the dish.
And now the beauty of our garden,
Yeah, look at that. Dude. It's very
the
nice.
beauty of our garden, it is exciting to do something like
Do
this.
me a favor. Don't move the plate.
It's very nice to do something like that. But also, I can just set our wonderful garden flowers around. You know what I'd like to do is add some of these yellow flowers, all edible, just little
Yeah,
flowers
those are all edible.
from the bok choy plants that we have outside, which the greens are in here. And then also that I have arugula flowers, these nice white flowers that have a nice flavor like that. And then maybe something like this on top, a little basil, like that. And so Michael might want to put gamasio on here when he serves himself.
Well, when I serve myself, I might consider that, I don't know that I necessarily will. I mean, when you're sitting there presenting it like this, I wouldn't do that. you know. I would just present it the way you're presenting it. But once it hits my plate, that's a different story, Daddy.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Actually, that's what I'm saying.
Once it hits my plate.
And I love doing stuff like this and making something presented like that. And you see, like each component, you saw how I built it, and the flavoring, the seasoning is all personal. There's just so many ways that you can work with this. Just making the little zucchini noodles.
Hey, man. To me, it's beautiful. Like I said, it's a beautiful dish. We're going to enjoy it with our other dishes. I think it's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, we have the
All
potatoes in the oven, and then we're out to the grill next.
It's time for
It
the
is
grill,
almost,
Daddy-o.
Almost dinner time.
All right. See you guys in a bit. Okay, here we are outside. Got the grill nice and hot. All right. And actually getting it nice and hot. Here, hold on a second. Let me make sure I'm good and clean. You can see from, look at that. Oh, nice and hot. This is not going to take very long to cook. This would be done rather quickly. But let's get this bad boy nice and hot. Keep that lid down. So look at these pieces. Look at this meat. I mean, this is just beautifully colored with that oil. Beautifully colored. We're going to lay those steaks down there on that grill. It will not take long for these to get nicely done. What I'd like to do real quick is I like to hit this with salt right before I put it on the grill real quick. So I'm just looking at these pieces here real quick. These look phenomenal. Okay, great. Let me get some salt and get that ready to go because I definitely want to salt this before I throw it on. All right, excellent. I'll be right back. All right, here we go. I've got some Mediterranean sea salt. Now let me just take a look at a piece that I want to throw down. This one looks nice right here. All right, let's take a look at that piece right there. There we go. Let's hit this with a little bit of salt real quick. Oh yeah. With the top of that with some salt. Excellent. This is all, I don't worry about it because it's all going to sweat off. So it's okay, and the salt will kind of help give it a nice little season. Here we go, and will help that the seasoning kind of crust on a little bit. Here we go. At least that's what I've usually found when I have these kinds of marinades. There we go. Ooh, here's a little piece. We'll just throw like right there. All right, let me see this piece right here. Okay, yeah, this is a fairly big piece right here. So let's get that turned around. Okay. Look at that piece. Wow. Big piece of flat meat. There we go. Nice thin little piece here. Let me lay this one out. All right, let's hit this one up. Look at that. Oh, wow. Excellent. All right, let's just hit that with a little bit of salt everywhere, and that is good. Like I said, this will not take long before it is ready. All right, let me get this pan ready to go to accept this meat. Ooh, look at that. All right, we're gonna let that grill real quick. I'm gonna clean this pan. I'm gonna be right back. Ooh, just let that go. Okay.
Funny no more. Funny no more. Cracking up.
No, it's too fucking loud. Okay, I think that meat's ready to be turned. Let's leave that one right there. Let's turn that around. Look at that. Whoa, yeah. Nice caramelization happening there. Let's take this one here. This is a little thicker. Look at that. What I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to take this and I'm going to turn him this at a different angle. Because he was at one angle. Now let's see if I can get him. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. Get him at that angle now. There we go. Then we'll turn him over. This guy here. Look at that. All right. These are not very big pieces. We don't want them to get too cooked all the way through. This one's ready to flip now. This was a thick piece. So he's ready to get it out. There we go. Excellent. All right, we're going to let these go just a little bit, and then we will be right back inside once they are done. Like I said, this will not take very long. What I'm going to do is once these are done, I'm going to put them in that little casserole pan. I'm going to cover up with a little bit of aluminum foil, let them rest a little bit, and then we will show the rest of our meal. Talk to you in a bit. Okay, Jeff, the meat is done from the grill. It looks like our mashed potatoes are out of the oven.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Our chimichurri is sitting right there waiting for the meat, and look at that gorgeous.
Well, you know, chef and coach, I'm the chef, but you know, you've grilled everything we've done, and you're a chef on the grill.
I love cooking the meat.
All right. So
one of my things.
You know, one thing here we talked about this meat that there's a very sturdy grain in this direction.
That's right.
So it's important that we cut it like that.
That's right.
So
that's
first,
why, yep, exactly. Cut it in pieces that you can use so that you can cut in that grain.
Yes.
And then there you go.
Like this.
And look at that. That will make some incredibly...
And you and I tasted this, and the marinade is spectacular.
Spectacular. Spectacular.
Yeah, I'm going to even cut this once more like that. And then against. It's so hot.
Yep.
Oh, baby.
Now, Jeff, are you going against the grain there?
I am.
Make sure you're going against the grain.
Every piece is against the grain.
Okay, let's make sure we're going against the grain. Show the grain, right? Because there's grain. See, it's going that way, right? So we got to cut against that grain.
One cut this way.
Yeah. So cut against that grain. See, there you go, so people can see it. I need to see that you're cutting against that grain. There you go. See, look at how beautiful that is, against the grain like that. Those really are going to be nice, tender, delicious pieces.
Yeah.
All right.
So.
All right, very good.
Here we are.
We've got our sliced meat.
That.
You just say, hey, get your plate. Yep. Go to town. Put some chimichurri on.
Yeah, did you see that salad
Enjoy your salad. Oh my goodness. It looks like an incredible meal, Jeff.
Yeah, look at that.
As far as I'm concerned, there's no cheese on this dish. There's no sugar. This is a beautifully nutritious meal right here. Very keto, paleo, and walk-fit friendly. Maybe we had a little bit of butter in that. We didn't necessarily need it. Could have done without it if we wanted to be real strict. But as far as I'm concerned, this meal would not kick you out of keto, dude. If you're in keto, this would not kick you out.
Glad to hear it.
This would be a great meal.
Glad to hear it. Yummy.
Excellent. Let's eat.
Let's eat.
See you at the far side. All right, hey guys, Mike White here, your high performance coach, along with Jeff Haltman, our chef. Guys, we had an incredible meal tonight.
Yep.
Very, very healthy. A beautiful meal for anyone that's currently in ketosis, that wanted to remain in ketosis. Yeah. This meal would have kept you there. Incredibly nutritious. You would have loved this meal. Incredible variety. Jeff, let's talk about it.
Yep.
Okay.
Tell me what you liked.
Well, first of all, right, the meat we picked was a pretty basic meat. You know, a meat that some people would have a hard time cooking, right? Yes. Like, how do I cook this?
Because it can be really tough.
That's right. It can be really tough. But we had a great spice for it. We had the
the chimichurri sauce?
The chimichurri sauce for it. Afterwards, it gave it another balance of flavor.
Just a bounty of herbs is what we did. Essentially, just laid the herbs on top of the grilled meat.
And we showed how to actually cut that meat so you could have tender pieces and
the best way.
Meal,
the best way to do it.
And of course, when you're having meat like steak or
yes.
whatever, what's the first thing you think of? You think of mashed potatoes.
Yes.
But we did a different spin. Most people would just use like a
Were those the fluffiest
potatoes
that you've ever had?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Jeff, the celery root in there, steaming that along with the cauliflower, made that so creamy.
Yes.
It was incredibly creamy. I was really surprised at how creamy that was.
Yes.
And, just that little bit of paprika
We steamed
on top.
it, we pureed it, and then we put it in a baking dish in the oven
And baked it.
and baked it.
It was
and
fluffy.
had a nice crust on it.
Fluffy, beautiful,
Rich.
right? Absolutely.
Some
And-
oil, some not. Maybe you put a little butter.
Well-
you don't put butter. You put avocado oil. You don't put it.
Again,
it's where you want to go.
It's where you are in
But-
the wellness category, right? Where you have to be. All right.
Yeah.
If you have to eliminate certain things, like hey, to me, I told you we could have had a blue cheese kind of or compound butter of some type on there that would have been delicious. But in some,
The point is, in
for
this
some
dish,
people, you
it
can't
was
do
not
it.
a potato.
It wasn't a potato.
That's
and
the
main
point.
thing.
It was mostly
That's the main
cauliflower
thing.
and the celery root.
And the celery root.
And so if
And-
you're focused on carbs, they're low.
Yeah, I thought it was extremely
and
low.
rich.
Here's the other thing too. Again, along with that,
Yes.
no potato.
Yes.
There was basically no dairy. The butter was pretty limited. It wasn't necessary. You could have easily done it with olive oil
insisted.
if you wanted. You wanted some.
Yes.
I held back just a little, just because I'm trying to,
wanna
create
set
a certain,
yes.
standard
Yes.
for what we're doing. But again, you can always kick it up a notch. You can always, express yourself artistically. And a lot of times, there's where the butter comes in. It can, it certainly helps in lots of like dude. Hey, when we're doing the salmon skin, right? The butter's really the only thing that can get that thing nice and crispy the way you're looking for it, right? And so again, there's certain things with that butter, does better, right?
Yeah.
And certain
You
dishes.
find your lane with the foods you
Yes.
eat is if they serve you.
But like I said, if you didn't want that, here we had the meat. Everything was awesome about the meat. The herbs there,
Yes.
that
Plenty
creamy,
of oil in
beautiful
the chimichurri. Plenty
right,
of oil there.
That creamy, potato substitute, and then of course after that we had our incredible, beautiful salad.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
outstanding.
That's an entree by itself. That salad.
It actually was. That is actually an entree. In fact, you could have had that and put some slices of meat on top of that and been just satisfied.
Correct.
Without having any kind of, creamy goodness.
Yeah.
that
We
was
cured
there.
the zucchini. We rubbed the kale and
And let's talk about that
broke
just
it
for a
down.
second, Jeff. We cured the zucchini.
Yeah.
Right? We cured
Yeah,
it, right?
yeah.
By adding the salt to it.
That's right.
It really did soften it up. Even
Yes.
after you sliced it thin, it softened it up even
You
more.
were twirling it like spaghetti on your
And
on
you
your
would
fork.
think that it would fall apart, but it didn't. It maintained structure
Right.
throughout.
Right.
And really
it just leached a little
became-
water out. You saw how much
Yes.
came out.
Yes. And it really became almost noodly like
It's noodly.
because of it.
It's
Because of it.
exactly
So
right.
I was very surprised with how that turned out because it did not fall apart. It maintains its consistency.
Yep.
The
We
greens
we
that
used
were
a
in
potato
it.
peeler and then a knife, but a mandolin thing or anything. I mean,
Yeah.
you could even grate zucchini on a box grater and do the same thing.
And also too, every once in a while you get that bite of sun-dried tomato.
Oh yeah,
and
well yeah, we
that
kicked it
just-
up, so to
that,
speak.
Yes, that just made a nice little, addition to it as well.
Yep.
So like I said, for anyone looking for an incredibly healthy meal, this one was incredible. It had variety, it had beauty, it had
you,
artistic.
Michael.
There was a
Thank
lot
you,
of
Coach.
artistry in this,
Yeah.
A lot of
Some thought.
technique too, right? We're looking at the curing of the zucchini, right?
Yeah, what does
And
that
then-
mean? How do you do that?
Exactly,
So,
right?
yeah.
We had the dry rub that we put on that,
On the steak.
on the steak. But then, what did we do? We toasted some seeds, and those seeds were some of the herbs,
Cumin seeds
right?
and coriander seeds. That's what went into the marinade.
But then
for
they
the-
were also the herbs that were in that chimichurri that complemented that.
Yeah.
Again, just an incredible way of having, your meal that is so rich in green, so rich in plant-based.
and flavor.
And flavor.
Yeah, we brought some flavor tonight.
Exactly. So anyway, Jeff, another incredible meal.
Incredible.
I hope you guys liked it. If you liked the show, this is the Coach and Chef. Hit subscribe down at the bottom. We're doing these shows all the time, right? Every week we had these shows. Last week we did a beautiful thing. Next week, I don't know what's on the menu for next week, but hey, show up. We'll be there. All right? Hit subscribe down at the bottom. We'll talk to you guys later. It's your Coach and Chef. My name is Mike White. I'm your high performance coach. This is Jeff Hauptman, your chef.
High performance.
High performance. Great job today, Jeff.
Thank you.